Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with selections for... Sorry, best shut that window first. For Tuesday, the 14th of March. So let's get straight into it. So as you'll be aware, I've been monitoring the weather for quite a while now, and it looks like even now it's currently raining at Cheltenham. I've been on the Betfair forum. To be fair, I haven't been on there for years, but I went on there, and apparently someone lives 20 minutes away from the course, and there's not been a deluge of rain, but it did say that it has been quite steady, and there was a fair amount last night, as in Sunday to Monday. It's been on and off, as you'll be well aware from me showing you the weather forecast in the first place. So I think it's teetering on heavy. However, I don't think they'll ever declare it as being heavy. I think it'll be on the very, very, very soft side. So what I've done, I've looked at the races and I've tried to pick holes in some of the favourites or some of the more fancied horses, and look for alternatives. And I do like a lot of the selections. Well, I like all the selections that I've had, but I do think there are opportunities to get some of the favourites beat. So let's get into it. So in total, I've staked just over £50. You probably won't follow me in on the staking, but these are all the selections that I'm having, even the ones at the very bottom, which include the reverse forecast or exactors. So let's get into it. So my first bet is the main bet. It's the 20p each way Canadian, £1 each way singles, 25p each way doubles, 10p each way trebles, 10p each way fourfolds, and a 30p each way acca. So the first selection is Diverge in the 130 at Cheltenham. This horse ran behind one of the horses between 14s. High Definition it is. I didn't think I'd be able to remember the name. So it ran behind High Definition, but it was quite eye-catching. It wasn't flying through the field, but this horse was staying on very well. Well, it completely upped its game on its next run, posting a very decent Racing Post rating. I think it was 140 it posted. Well, it's still got to improve again, but it's only had 2 runs over hurdles. Yes, that does probably kind of tell me that there is room for improvement, but it's also a little bit of a concern because it's still quite inexperienced. But I do believe this horse wants this ground, and it will be running on at the finish. It never looked like stopping in the race that it won. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it came up against anything really, but I do believe this horse, there's still more to come from this horse. The favourite is, I keep getting the name wrong every time, Facile Vega. I think that horse is a very good horse, but it concerns me how quickly it folded last time. Even though it set a decent pace, I was still quite surprised how quickly it faded. And don't get me wrong, it could well hack up, and it ran on ground much worse than tomorrow's ground at Cheltenham when it won last time. So, question marks are the favourite, and I also think, I can't remember what the other horse is now. Is it trained by Barry Connell, I think? It's won every race. Well, that's still got to improve to even draw the favourite. So, yeah, I do think there's room for improvement, to get some of these beat. Although I would have liked to have seen an extra place on this race. It's a money-back race, unfortunately. I'd have preferred it to be an extra place race. I think Diverge will be like knocking on the places, like sneaking that third place. So, fingers crossed for that one. The second selection is 3Under-Thru-5 in the 250 at Cheltenham. This is in a big handicap. Bearing in mind, all these selections are with Sky Bet. Well, this horse ran an absolute cracker under a really big weight in the... I can't remember what the race is called. I think it's like the Warwick National or something like that. Over 3 mile 5. I think it's 3 mile 5.5 furlong. And it was really travelling excellent all the way round. But I just don't think it stayed. But what kind of puzzled me is it's actually entered in the Grand National, or it was. But I don't think it can stay that far. So I'm personally thinking that was a test, that 3 mile 5.5 furlong. And bearing in mind, that was on heavy ground. So ground that's going to be worse than Cheltenham's tomorrow. And don't get me wrong, travelling to 2 hours, it looked the winner. But then it just didn't quite find much. And then it wasn't hard on it, but he just kept it going. Well, I think it's set this horse up perfectly for this race. Because I think they'll avoid the Grand National. I think it's probably too close now. And I think this is the race. I'm not, to be fair, I know it's like second in the championship normally, or vying for it with Nick Henson. But I'm not actually a massive fan of Paul Nicholls. I can never get his horses right. But that is the one that I fancy. The next race is Echoes in Rain in a 10:4 at Cheltenham. There's plenty that have said they don't think this horse will stay. Well, it ran over this distance either last year or the year before. Well, it didn't find loads, but I don't think the pace was that frenetic. But this horse has ran over 2 mile on the flat, and that generally means it wants at least 2.5 mile over hurdles. So I'm giving it another chance, and I do think it could be a topical winner, just being called Echoes in Rain. So that's that selection, and it will love the really soft ground. The fourth selection is Metamorpheus in the 450 at Cheltenham. This horse won really well, not last time when it ran, but the time before. And it was up massively in grade. And it was actually sold to the Paul Nolan stable. So it's under a different trainer and a much more well-known trainer. It was like a very small-time outfit where it was at before. So I think going to like a proper full-time yard could eke out loads more improvement. And I think Paul Nolan has had winners at Cheltenham Festival in the past, and I think this, paying so many places, I think it's 6 places with Sky Bet in this race. I think it's got a cracking chance, and it loves soft ground. And the final selection, talking of soft ground, and in the form of its life, is Cool Valor in the 530 at Cheltenham. This horse has got loads to find on form, but it's absolutely flying at the moment. I think it's hard to say you'll get an easy lead at Cheltenham, but if you could get an easy lead, it could be very hard to peg back. It jumps very well and it loves bottomless ground. So it's just a one after its name every single time it seems to have running recently. So hopefully there's another one outside of its name after Tuesday's racing. But yeah, I do think it could be very hard to beat. So all those selections are with Sky Bet, and the total stake for that bet is £29. So I've had an each way multiple combinations bet. So all I've gone for basically the horses that I've had already mixed in with some dark horses or some dangers. So the bet is a 20p each way doubles, 10p each way trebles, 5p each way fourfolds, and 5p each way fivefolds. So the first selection is Diverge in the 130 at Cheltenham. The second selection is Heart Door in the 2:10 at Cheltenham. This horse is very interesting. I think it'll love the ground. Hopefully, I'd like to see it go straight to the front and see what the others have got. It will like, as I said maybe already, it likes the soft ground. And a Willie Mullins horse at 66-1, I'd always like to be on those kind of prices with Willie Mullins because anything can happen with his horses at Cheltenham. The third race is The Wolf and Threeunderthrufive in the 250 at Cheltenham. You'll be well aware that I've backed The Wolf loads of times this year. Well, I think this is the race they've been aiming for. It's ran well here, it's ran well at Cheltenham in the past, off a much higher weights. I think what it'll be, I'm not expecting The Wolf to win. I think it's got a good chance of a place though, when a lot of them are struggling, to be honest. I think there'll be an awful lot of horses just completely empty out tomorrow. The fourth race is Metamorpheus and Sundial in the 450 at Cheltenham. Sundial is one of JP McManus's, and it normally goes very close on a lot of these handicaps, and I do think it's got a bit of a sneak on the form. It's a half decent price, it's about 20s. And finally, Cool Valor again in the 530 at Cheltenham. So if the main bet runs well, there's a good chance that we're going to have a decent return. If they don't, well, it could be small returns, if nothing at all. So, right, that's made things a bit awkward. I can't scroll down anymore. Right. So, I've gone for, you can either have these as a reverse exacta or forecast, or a reverse trifecta or tricast. I know there's 4 selections in this one, but you can, I don't know if you're aware of that. You have perms basically. It costs more. Just keep your stakes low because I won't say it's a fun bet, but you can't take this bet too seriously. It's one of them where fingers crossed bet. So in the 130 at Cheltenham, I've gone for 3 selections. Numbers 3, 4, and 8. I'm not telling you the stakes, it's completely up to you. The second rate, sorry, so the second selections are in the 250 at Cheltenham. I've gone for numbers 4, 5, 17 and 22. And then finally, in the 450 at Cheltenham, I've gone for numbers 3, 4, 11 and 20. So those are all the bets. I do try and advise you to try and put all the bets on if you can, but if you can't afford it, put much lower stakes on, much more affordable stakes. So those are the selections for Cheltenham. I wish everybody good luck. So the next selections will be for the Wednesday of Cheltenham. I'm not really planning on making another video. So if you can give this video a like or a subscribe, that'd be fantastic. The very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.